Hello everyone, this is Mahita. Welcome back to my channel Mahita Smart Education. Today in this video we are going to learn about working of institution. Fifth chapter in NCERT 9th class political science textbook. Okay, let's start. India is a democratic country. So, in democracy, even rulers have some set of rules and procedures to follow, and they have to work with and within institutions. So, today we are going to learn about these institutions or organs of government. There are three institutions which plays a major role in decision making, and they are legislature, executive, and judiciary. So let's look at the important points of institutions. The Prime Minister and Cabinet are the important institutions that take all important decisions. Civil servants are responsible for taking steps to implement minister orders, and Supreme Court is an institution where disputes between citizens and government are settled. An institution involves rules and regulations. This can be bind the hands of leaders, and this often leads to delay and complications. What is the meaning of all these points? We already learned that or institutions are three. They are legislature, executive, and judiciary, right? So, Prime Minister and cabinet are important institute, and they are the legislature. They represent the legislature, and civil servants represent the executives, and Supreme Court represent the judiciary. So these are the main important points regarding institution. Okay, let's talk about parliament. Indian parliament, we all know that Indian parliament is bicameral in nature, which means it has two assemblies, and they are Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha, or otherwise called as upper house and lower house, right? So, parliament, which is a national assembly of elected representatives, is called parliament. At state level, this is called as legislature or legislative assembly. Now look at the important points regarding parliament. Parliament is the first authority for making laws in any country. Parliament controls all the money that the government have, and rulers can take only decisions as long as they enjoy support of parliament, and parliament can seek information about any matter. Yes, we all know that parliament is divided into two assemblies, and they are Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha, or the members of Rajya Sabha, are elected by the elected members of the state legislative assembly, whereas Lok Sabha members are directly elected by the people. And any ordinary law needed to be passed by both houses, and if there is a difference between two, that means if there is a difference between Rajya Sabha members and Lok Sabha members, then it must be favors the Lok Sabha, because Lok Sabha has highest number of members than Rajya Sabha, and Lok Sabha members are directly elected by the people, right? So they have more number of chance to win any argument over Rajya Sabha. Okay, and Lok Sabha exercise more money matters. Once Lok Sabha passes the budget, then Rajya Sabha cannot reject it, but it can delay it by 14 days. Okay, and Lok Sabha controls the Council of Ministers. A person who enjoys the support of majority of Lok Sabha becomes the Prime Minister. And now let us move on to the executives. Executives are the people or the persons. They are also called as permanent employees or permanent executives. And different levels of any government, we find functionaries who take day-to-day decisions but do not exercise supreme power on behalf of the people, and they are executives. And executives may be political executives and permanent executives. Permanent executives are the people appointed on long term basis or permanent basis, and they are called civil services. And the person working in civil services or called as civil servants, and political executives, one that is elected by the people for specific period, is called political executors. Now let us discuss about Prime Minister. Prime Minister uh, distributes the work to ministers, and PM controls the parliament and cabinet through part or parties, okay, and appointed by the president. Prime Minister is appointed by the president, and Prime Minister is free to choose ministers as long as they are members of parliament. And PM can appoint a non-member of parliament, but that person has to be elected to one of the parliament within 6 months. And yes, of course, Prime Minister is the head of the government. Now look at the cabinet ministers, the top level leaders of ruling party, and they'll occupy the seat in the front row, okay, and the inner ring, yes, the inner ring of council of ministers, and it comprises about 20 ministers, and ministers of state with independent charge are small ministers, and they participate in cabinet when specially invited, and ministers of states are required to assist cabinet ministers, and every minister has secretaries who are civil servants. Civil servants are permanent executives, right? So these secretaries provide the necessary background information to the ministers to take decision. Coalition government. Let us discuss about the coalition government. Coalition government is a government formed by alliance of two or more political parties, which is also called as combining two or more political parties, which is combinedly called as coalition government. Now let us look at the duties of president. President, he is the head of the state, and he only have some nominal powers, like he can nominate few members in Rajya Sabha, and he can appoint the prime minister, like that, okay, only nominal power is there for him, and supervises the overall functioning of all the political institutions, and the elected MP and MLAs elect president, and president exercise all these powers only on the advice of council of ministers, and president can ask the council to reconsider the order, but once it is given again, then he has to accept it. And when no party gets majority in Lok Sabha, the president appoints a leader who, in her opinion or in his or her opinion, can muster majority support. And whereas in US, president directly elected by the people. Okay, and yes, let's look at the third institution or third organ of the government, that is judiciary. Judiciary is related to the courts at different levels in a country put together called judiciary, all the courts at different levels, okay. And if one person appointed as a judge of Supreme Court, and it is nearly impossible to remove him, and Supreme Court for the entire nation, yes, and the judiciary is divided into different levels, like we are having district courts, high court, and Supreme Court, right? District court or trial court is at the district level or the city level, whereas high court is at the state level, and Supreme Court is for the entire nation. And if you went to the district court, and if you feel you don't get the judgment that you wanted, then you can go to high court and appeal there. And if you are not satisfied with the high court judgment also, then you can appeal in Supreme Court also. And in India, judiciary is integrated in nature, and Supreme Court controls the judiciary, yes, and its decisions are binding of all other courts of the country. It can take up any decision between citizens and the of the country, and between the citizens and government, between two governments, and even judiciary can solve the disputes between the state government and central government also. and it is not under the control of legislature or executive, and they can declare any law invalid if it is against the constitution. So this is all about our fifth chapter in NCERT ninth class political science textbook. Hope you like this video. If you like this video, please do like, share and comment below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more interesting videos like this. Thank you. Thanks for watching.